You are clicking. Again and again, nothing moves. You are doing the affirmations, you are visualizing, you are putting in the hours, but the screen of your reality is frozen. It is the spinning wheel of death. You feel panic rising in your chest because you are doing everything right. But the feedback loop has been severed. Why isn't it loading? Stop. Take your hand off the mouse. This freeze is not a system crash. It is a security checkpoint. You have not been locked out because you are unworthy or broken. You have been temporarily locked out because your security clearance is being upgraded. Most people spend their entire lives trying to hack their own reality using old passwords. You are trying to access a level 10 life with a level 1 identity. The system has flagged this as a security risk. That is why it feels like you are screaming in a soundproof room. That is why the harder you push, the colder the response gets. We are not here to fix you because you are not broken. We are here to complete the installation. You are going to stop acting like a frantic user and start logging in as the administrator. You feel a specific pressure behind your eyes right now. You are tired, deeply tired, even after sleeping deep hours. You think this is depression or stagnation. It is not. It is bandwidth allocation. Your system is diverting all power to the back end to rewrite your source code. Stop banging on the keyboard. This is the quantum password. Let us look at the physics of your situation. Consider the Bekenstein bound. In theoretical physics, this principle defines the maximum amount of information that can be contained within a finite region of space, given a finite amount of energy. Your nervous system is a finite region. It has a specific energetic storage capacity. This brings us to the concept of Shannon entropy. When you try to download a massive new reality, a file containing new wealth, deeper love and higher purpose, onto a hard drive that is already full of old trauma and outdated subroutines, what happens? The system must pause. It is not rejecting the file. It is clearing space. That blockage you feel is not spiritual failure. That is information entropy. It is a necessary safeguard. If the system did not freeze to process the data, your neurological circuit would fry under the voltage of the new command. You are not broken. You are buffering. You have noticed the signs. The old tricks have stopped working. Last year you could meditate for 20 minutes and shift your state instantly. Now you sit in silence and it feels like waiting in a dentist's lobby. Nothing lands. The connection feels dead. Then comes the phenomenon of ghosting. It feels like a coordinated attack on your stability. A relationship goes cold overnight. A contract gets cancelled at the last minute. A sudden health flare-up forces you to stop. All at once. This is not bad luck. This is the safe mode boot-up sequence. When an operating system performs a core kernel update, it shuts down all non-essential functions to protect the integrity of the installation. Your social validation is non-essential. Your comfort is non-essential. The system cares only about the upgrade. Visualize a high-security terminal. You are standing at the gate. You want access to the file marked Limitless Abundance, but you are swiping a badge that says Victim of Circumstance. The door will not open. It physically cannot open. The user is the ego, frantic, emotional, reactive, constantly checking the screen. The admin is the higher self, strategic, calm, authoritative, managing the servers. The password is not a word you speak. It is a vibrational signature you emit. You have been banging on the keyboard, thinking effort equals access. It doesn't. If you are ready to stop forcing the door and finally learn the new password, click the like button right now to validate this diagnostic. Let the system know you are ready to listen. We need to strip the mysticism from your situation immediately. You are not cursed. You are not being punished by the universe. You are observing a mechanical function of a cybernetic system. To understand why your reality has frozen, we must look at the father of cybernetics, Norbert Wiener, and the principle of negative feedback loops. In engineering, a feedback loop is a mechanism that self-regulates a system. Think of the thermostat in your home. That is a cybernetic device. You set the temperature to 72 degrees. That is your intention. If the room heats up to 80 degrees, the system detects an error signal, the gap between your intention and the reality. The AC kicks in to cool the room back down. It forces the reality back to the baseline. This is negative feedback. It is designed to kill deviation. It is designed to keep things stable. Now apply this to your life. You have a baseline setting. It is programmed into your subconscious, your internal operating system. This baseline is defined by your past, your trauma, and your old identity. Let's say your financial baseline is survival mode. Suddenly, you decide to manifest wealth. You visualize, you affirm. You spike your energy. You generate a massive amount of new heat. You try to push the room to 90 degrees. What happens? The cybernetic mechanism of your psyche detects a massive error signal. It sees this new wealth consciousness not as a blessing, but as a dangerous deviation from the baseline. The system screams, "System instability detected." And just like the AC unit, your subconscious engages a negative feedback loop to cool you back down. It sabotages the deal. It creates a sudden expense. It triggers a depressive episode. It brings you right back to 72 degrees, back to survival. You interpret this as failure. You think, "I am doing it wrong." You are not doing it wrong. The system is working perfectly. It is doing exactly what it was programmed to do: maintain homeostasis. Your blockage is actually a safety breaker. If a circuit meant to handle 110 volts is suddenly hit with 10,000 volts of new reality, the breaker must trip. If it didn't, the wiring would melt. Your nervous system would fry. The silence you are experiencing, that is the breaker in the off position. This brings us to the core diagnostic. You are not facing a spiritual wall, you are undergoing the admin access protocol. Most people live their entire lives as guest users in their own simulation. A guest user has limited permissions. They can open files, move icons, maybe change the desktop background, but they cannot change the core system files. They cannot rewrite the operating system. When a guest user tries to access the system core, which is what you are doing when you try to fundamentally alter your reality, the screen goes black. Access denied. The admin access protocol is the specific sequence required to elevate your permissions. But here is the catch that no one tells you. To switch from guest to admin, the system must log out. Think about your computer. When you install a massive update to the OS, what does the screen say? Do not turn off power. System is restarting. The screen goes black. The inputs stop working. You click the mouse and nothing happens. The cursor disappears. The fans spin loudly. The machine gets hot. This is exactly where you are right now. You are in the reboot phase. You have requested a massive upgrade to your life structure. The system has accepted the request, but to install the new architecture, it had to take the old interface offline. You feel a specific heavy exhaustion. It's not just being tired, it's render latency. Your brain feels foggy. You can't find the words. You feel disconnected from the things that used to light you up. You feel like you are walking through water. You've been silently carrying this, wondering if you're losing your mind. You aren't. Your biological hardware is diverting all available RAM to the back-end installation. There is no bandwidth left for the user interface. You are trying to run high-performance apps while the OS is reinstalling. Of course, it's glitching. The danger here is not the update. The danger is your reaction to the update. We see two primary failure modes in this phase. The first is brute force hacking. This is the most common error among high achievers. You feel the disconnect? You see the frozen screen and you panic. You double your efforts. You meditate harder. You visualize longer. You try to force the manifestation through sheer will. You start banging on the keyboard while the screen is black. In cybernetics, this adds noise to the channel. You are introducing chaotic data into a system that is trying to organize itself. By trying to force a result during the installation phase, you are actually triggering the firewall. You are acting like a virus. The system detects this frantic, desperate energy, this neediness, and it flags it as a security threat, so it locks down harder. The silence gets deeper. The rejection gets sharper. This is usually the moment you frantically search, why is my manifestation not working? But the answer isn't in the technique, it's in the access level. You are trying to run a command that you don't have the permissions for yet. You are screaming at the screen, but the keyboard is disconnected. The second failure mode is system restore. This happens when the pressure of the void becomes too much. The silence is terrifying. The old life, even if it was painful, was predictable. It was stable. So you panic and reach for the old comforts. You text the ex, you take the job that is beneath you, you lower your standards just to feel the ground again. In computer terms, you are hitting cancel update and reverting to the last known stable configuration. You stop the upgrade at 99% because you were afraid of the dark. And the tragedy is, the old version of you is already deleted. The new version isn't installed yet. When you try to go back, you find the old life doesn't fit anymore. The food tastes like ash. The conversations are boring. You are stuck between versions. You're in digital limbo. We need to shift your paradigm immediately. You are not a beggar hoping for crumbs from the universe. That is guest user behavior. You are the system administrator. When an admin types a command code, they do not sweat. They do not hope the computer listens. They do not scream at the terminal. They type the code, they press enter, and they wait. They know the machine has no choice but to execute the command. The delay between pressing enter and the program running is not a refusal. It is simply processing time. The admin understands the architecture. They know that if the fan is spinning and the hard drive is grinding, work is being done. They don't pull the plug. They don't start clicking randomly. They hold the space. They verify the credentials. Your silence is not an empty void. It is a full buffer. The data is downloading. The reality you asked for, the wealth, the love, the impact, is a massive file size. It is terabytes of data. It cannot be unpacked instantly onto your old hard drive without clearing space first. Stop banging on the keyboard. Stop trying to hack your own life with brute force energy. The freeze you are feeling is the most significant sign of success you have ever had. It means the command was received. It means the installation has begun. The firewall isn't there to keep you out. It's there to keep the corrupted files of your past from infecting your future. You need to stop asking, why isn't this working? And start asking, do I have the credentials to run this program? The universe is not waiting for your effort. It is waiting for your authentication. This brings us to the most uncomfortable truth in the entire architecture of your reality. It is the pivot point where the average user logs off and the administrator takes the chair. We need to talk about the firewall. For years, you have been operating under a fundamental miscalculation regarding the source of your resistance. You look at the spinning wheel, the frozen screen, the silence from the external world, and you assume you are under attack. You assume that outside forces, bad luck, the economy, jealous peers, or some vague cosmic judgment, are conspiring to keep you out. You feel like you are screaming in a soundproof room, and the lack of an echo feels like rejection. You have convinced yourself that the system is actively blocking you. You are wrong. The system is not blocking you. You are blocking you, and you are doing it on purpose. Let me explain the engineering behind this. In any high-security network, the most valuable data is placed behind the thickest encryption. You do not put the nuclear launch codes on a public server. You place them behind layers of biometric scanners, two-factor authentication, and air-gapped firewalls. The more powerful the command, the harder it is to execute. You are currently attempting to access a reality, a level of wealth, impact, or love that requires a massive amount of energetic voltage. If your current operating system, which is riddled with the malware of insecurity and the fragmented files of old trauma, were to access that level of power instantly, it would fry the motherboard. Your nervous system would collapse. So you, the higher you, the architect of this simulation, installed a firewall. You wrote the security protocol that is currently frustrating you. The resistance you feel is not a wall put up by an enemy. It is a safety door installed by the administrator. You are not being blocked, you are being verified. Think about this physically. When you try to log into your bank account from a new device in a new country, what happens? The bank freezes the account. It stops all transactions. Is the bank trying to hurt you? No. It is protecting the asset. It is detecting an anomaly, a user claiming to be you but behaving differently than the historical data suggests. Right now, you are behaving differently. You are claiming to be a new version of yourself. You are inputting commands for a new life. But your biometrics, your daily habits, your emotional reactions, your subconscious beliefs still look like the old version. The system detects a mismatch. The metadata doesn't match the login credentials. So the system triggers a security lockdown. This changes everything. It means that the silence you are experiencing is not an absence. It is a verification process. The system is not ignoring you. It is listening intently. It is scanning your vibrational signature to see if you are actually the administrator or just a hacker trying to brute force the door. This redefines the chaos currently deleting files in your life. You look around and see relationships ending, income streams drying up and plans falling apart. You call it a disaster. A density engineer calls it reformatting. When you upgrade an operating system from Windows 95 to Windows 11, you cannot keep the old drivers. They are incompatible with the new kernel. The computer must delete the old architecture to write the new code. The chaos is not a sign that things are going wrong. It is the necessary deletion of obsolete data to free up storage for the upgrade. You are mourning the loss of files that were corrupting your drive anyway. This brings us to the methodological shift. Until this moment, your strategy has been brute force. You have been trying to outwork the glitch. You have been pushing, striving, and exhausting yourself, trying to scream louder than the silence. In cybernetics, brute force is the least efficient way to hack a system. It triggers every alarm. It increases the heat in the server room. It drains the battery. And ultimately, it fails because the firewall is designed to withstand pressure. It is not designed to withstand the correct key. You do not need more energy. You need the correct credentials. Stop swimming upstream. Stop banging on the keyboard. The user mentality is one of effort and panic. The user pleads. The user hopes. The user constantly checks the status bar, terrified it will stall. The user operates from a place of, I hope this works. You must now enter the server room. Visualize this shift. Leave the frantic, hot, noisy floor of your daily life where you are reacting to errors. Step into the back end. The server room is cold. It is sterile. It is hummed by the sound of massive processing power. There are no windows, only blinking lights indicating the flow of terabytes of data. In the center of this room sits the system administrator. The admin does not panic when a screen freezes. The admin does not take it personally when a download lags. The admin understands the architecture. The admin knows that a lag is simply a disparity between the size of the file and the width of the bandwidth. The admin does not push. The admin commands. This is the transition from asking to authenticating. When you ask, you imply you do not have the right. When you authenticate, you are simply proving you are the one who holds the right. This shift from user to admin is the only true way to reclaim personal power permanently. Power is not about force. Power is about access. A security guard exerts force. The CEO has access. The guard has to tackle intruders. The CEO just scans a badge and the doors slide open. You have been playing the role of the security guard, fighting your own life. You are exhausted because you are doing a job you were not designed for. You are the CEO. You are the admin. The paradox is that the moment you stop fighting the firewall and start validating your identity, the firewall dissolves. It dissolves because it recognizes its creator. But how do you prove it? You cannot fake this. The system reads micro-expressions of energy. It knows when you're lying. It knows when you are projecting confidence but feeling terror. You verify your identity by how you handle the latency. When the screen freezes, when the money doesn't come on time, when the text isn't returned, when the contract is delayed, the user panics. The user assumes the worst. The user starts clicking frantically, crashing the system. The admin sits back. The admin knows that rendering takes time. The admin trusts the code they wrote. The specific blockage you are facing right now, that one stubborn area of your life that refuses to yield, is the primary authentication checkpoint. It is the fingerprint scanner. The system is waiting for you to place your hand on the scanner and not tremble. It is waiting for you to look at the lack of results and not flinch. If you react with the old fear, the system says, access denied. User is still running the scarcity v1.0 protocol. Restore previous reality settings. But if you look at the frozen screen and hold your frequency, if you maintain the certainty of the admin, despite the lack of evidence, the system says, authentication verified, identity confirmed, override previous settings, granting admin access. This is the game. It is not a battle of will. It is a test of identity. The firewall is simply asking, "Are you sure?" Most people answer, "I don't know," or "I hope so." The admin answers, "I wrote the code." You must understand that the delay is not empty time. It is compiling time. In programming, after you write the code, you must compile it. The computer takes your human-readable instructions and translates them into machine-readable zeros and ones. During compilation, the screen often looks like nothing is happening. But deep in the processor, the logic gates are switching at light speed. Your life is compiling. The reality you requested is being translated into physical matter. The people, the resources, the opportunities, they are being rendered from the quantum field into the Newtonian plane. This takes bandwidth. If you interrupt the compilation by doubting the process, you corrupt the file. You create a syntax error in your own reality. So the paradigm shift is this: stop trying to break down the door. You built the door. Stop screaming at the silence. The silence is the sound of the hard drive writing the data. Stop trying to convince the universe you are worthy. The universe is a machine. It doesn't care about your worthiness. It cares about your credentials. You reclaim personal power by stepping away from the keyboard of action and sitting in the chair of identity. You stop doing more and start being precise. The chaotic symptoms you see, the exhaustion, the emotional volatility, the weird glitches, these are not signs of failure. They are the counterintuitive signs of a successful install. They are the heat generated by the processor running at 100% capacity. If you can hold your nerve in the server room while the alarms are blinking, if you can trust the process while the screen is black, the system will reboot. And when it comes back online, it won't be the old version of you staring back. It will be the interface you always intended to build. Access is not given. Access is recognized. And the only one who can recognize it is the one who wrote the password. Now we move to the diagnostic phase. We are going to look at the error logs of your current reality. You have been interpreting your current experience as failure. You look at your exhaustion, your emotional volatility, and the sudden silence of your manifestations, and you label them as breakdowns. This is a classification error. In a cybernetic system, these are not signs of a crash. They are the specific, predictable, and necessary indicators of a system update. If you do not understand these three signs, you will abort the installation process right before it completes. You will force a hard reset and drag yourself back to the old version of you simply because the update felt uncomfortable. We are going to relabel these experiences right now so you can stop fighting the upgrade. The first sign is the bandwidth throttle. This manifests as a sudden, inexplicable physical exhaustion. This is not the good tired after a workout. This is a heavy, leaden gravity in your limbs. You wake up after 8 hours of sleep, yet you feel like you haven't slept at all. You sit down to do your creative work that usually lights you up, and you find yourself staring at a blank screen, your brain feeling like it is moving through wet concrete. You drink coffee, but it doesn't touch the fatigue. It just gives you the jitters while you remain exhausted. You have likely been searching for a spiritual blockage removal technique to fix this. You assume something is blocking your energy flow. You are incorrect. Nothing is blocked. Your energy is being rerouted. Think of your smartphone. When you initiate a major operating system update, what happens? The screen goes black. The device heats up. Most importantly, you cannot make calls, open apps, or send texts. The phone becomes a useless brick for 20 minutes. Why? Because the processor cannot run the old operating system while simultaneously installing the new one. It requires 100% of available CPU resources to overwrite the core architecture. Your body is the hardware. Your consciousness is the software. You have commanded a massive upgrade to your reality, a new career, a new level of wealth, a new relationship dynamic. That is a heavy file. Your biological system is currently diverting every ounce of available ATP, energy, to the neuroplastic restructuring required to hold that new reality. The system has throttled your external output to ensure the internal installation doesn't fail. When you feel this specific fatigue, you are in download mode. The worst thing you can do is force activity. If you try to run high-demand apps while your phone is updating, you risk bricking the device. Yet this is exactly what you do. You judge yourself for being lazy. You drink 3 espressos and force your brain to grind gears. You are trying to bypass the safety throttle. This exhaustion is a security feature. It is the system forcing you into hibernation so it can rewrite your cellular code without your ego interfering. If you are feeling this heaviness, you are not broken, you are under construction. The second sign is the 2-factor trigger. This is the most dangerous phase because it mimics regression. This occurs when you have done the inner work, you feel you have healed a specific trauma or pattern, and then, out of nowhere, you are hit with a situation that triggers that exact old wound with improved intensity. It feels like a test you have failed. You think, I thought I was past this. I thought I dealt with my anger. I thought I dealt with my scarcity mindset. And suddenly, an unexpected bill hits, or a partner makes a specific comment, and you feel the old rage or panic flare up. This is not a slide back. This is biometric authentication. When you log into a high-security bank account from a new device, the system does not just let you in. It stops you. It sends a code to your phone. It asks, "Are you sure this is you?" The system requires a secondary verification because the access level you are requesting is high stakes. You have requested admin access to a new life. The universe, the system, needs to verify that you are actually the admin and not the old user wearing a mask. The only way to verify your new identity is to present you with the old stimulus and see if you run the old script. If the bill comes and you panic, the system logs, user reacted with fear, identity match, old version, access denied. If the bill comes and you regulate your nervous system, pause and respond with strategy instead of fear, the system logs, user reacted with authority, identity match, new version, access granted. These triggers are not punishments. They are the 2-factor authentication codes. The intensity of the trigger is directly proportional to the amount of power you are about to inherit. The system is shouting, "Prove to me you are the person who can hold this level of power." This is the moment of truth. Most people fail here because they mistake the test for the truth. They feel the anger and think, "I haven't changed." No, the anger is the prompt. Your reaction to the anger is the password. If you are currently navigating a situation that feels like an unfair recurrence of an old problem, stop. Recognize the prompt. This is your verification window. If you are in this phase right now, if you feel the heat of the old triggers trying to pull you back, I want you to confirm your status. Go to the comments and write admin access. Do it now to signal to your own psychology that you recognize this is a test, not a failure. The third sign is rendering lag. This appears as glitches in your external reality. This is often the most frustrating phase for high performers. You have done the internal work. You have passed the 2-factor tests. You are vibrating at the new frequency, and yet, the external world looks chaotic. Deals that were 99% sure fall through at the last second. People ghost you. Plans cancel. You experience a string of bizarre bad luck. It feels like the world is dissolving. That is exactly what is happening. The world is dissolving. Think of a high-end video game. When you walk your character into a brand new massive map, there is often a moment of texture pop-in. The geometry loads first, but the textures are blurry. Sometimes objects flicker in and out. The graphics card is rendering the new environment, and there is a latency between the command and the visual display. We live in a dense physical dimension. Matter is slow, energy is fast. You have shifted your energy instantly, but matter requires time to rearrange itself. We call this hysteresis, the lag between the input, your energy, and the output, physical reality. When old things fall away, when relationships end abruptly, when clients leave, when the car breaks down, you are witnessing the deletion of temporary files. The system is clearing the cache. It is deleting the architecture of your old life to make space for the new architecture to render. The empty space where the old things used to be is not a void. It is a buffer. Most people panic at the buffer. They see the deal fall through and they scramble to fix it. They try to glue the old reality back together. They do not realize that the deal fell through because it was incompatible with the new software. If you try to save the things that are being deleted, you are essentially trying to restore a corrupted file. You must develop the admin gaze. When you see chaos, you do not see disaster. You see data reorganization. When you see silence, you do not see rejection. You see loading time. The rendering lag is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. The flickering reality is proof that the new map is loading. Let's integrate this pattern so you can recognize the sequence. It follows the density of the medium. First, the hardware updates. This is the picture's bandwidth throttle. Your physical body shuts down to install the neurological upgrades. You feel exhaustion. Second, the software verifies. This is the two-factor trigger. Your emotional body is tested to ensure the new identity code is stable. You feel volatility. Third, the environment renders. This is the rendering lag. Your physical reality deletes the old and buffers the new. You feel chaos or stagnation. If you are experiencing any of these three, you are not blocked. You are in the middle of a successful installation. The only way to fail now is to hit cancel. The only way to lose is to believe that the symptoms of the cure are the symptoms of the disease. Stay in the chair. Keep the terminal open. Let the render finish. We are going to perform the override now. We are going to log in. You have spent years banging on the plastic keys of the interface, begging the screen to change, but you have never actually authenticated your identity with the mainframe. That stops today. We are going to execute a manual boot-up sequence. This is not a relaxation exercise. This is not about floating away into the ether or escaping your body. This is a biometric authentication protocol. We are locking you in. Sit down. Find a position where your spine is a vertical column. In cybernetic terms, your spine is the primary bus, the main data highway transferring commands from the central processing unit in your brain to the hardware of your physical reality. If the line is kinked, the signal degrades. Straighten it. Chin slightly tucked. Hands resting on your thighs. Palms open, ready to receive data, or palms down, ready to ground the circuit. Close your eyes. Visualize the screen of your reality. Right now, it is not playing a movie. It is pitch black. This is not the darkness of emptiness. This is the darkness of a terminal awaiting input. In the center of this black void, there is a single blinking green cursor. It is pulsing. On, off, on, off. This is the heartbeat of the system. It is waiting for the administrator. It is waiting for you. You might feel a twitch in your fingers or a tightness in your jaw. You feel the urge to do something, to think a thought, to worry about the time. That is the old user interface glitching. That is the spinning wheel we talked about. Do not fight it, just watch the cursor blink, blink, blink. The system is in standby mode. It has paused the rendering of your problems. It has paused the rendering of your trauma. For the next few minutes, the simulation is suspended. You are in the command line. We must verify the hardware before we can install the software. We are initiating the biometric scan. Imagine a horizontal plane of blue laser light forming just above the crown of your head. This is the authentication scanner. It is going to move down through your body, inch by inch, reading your energetic signature. It is looking for resistance. It is looking for corrupted files. It is looking for the malware of doubt that you have hidden in your tissues. Let the light descend. It passes through your skull. It scans the brain tissue. What is the temperature there? Is it hot with overprocessing? Is the fan spinning so fast it's vibrating against the casing? Observe the noise in your mind. Do not try to silence it. Just label it. Background processes. Cache data. Temporary files. You are not those thoughts. You are the one observing the scan. The light moves down to your eyes, your jaw, your throat. Stop. There is a blockage here for many of you. You have been swallowing your truth to keep the peace. You have been running a subroutine called compliance to avoid conflict. The scanner detects this as a compression in the voice box. High latency. Feel the light dissolve the data packet. You do not need to say anything yet, you just need to clear the port. The scan continues down the shoulders into the chest, the heart center. This is the GPU, the graphics processing unit. This is where the emotion powers the image of your life. What is the quality of the signal here? Is it tight? Is it guarded? You might feel a sharp sensation or a dull ache in the center of your chest. The system has flagged this sector. This is where you stored the data from that rejection 3 years ago. This is where you archived the file labeled, "I am not enough." The scanner is reading it now. Do not flinch. An administrator does not fear the error log. An administrator reads it to fix it. Acknowledge the tightness. Say to yourself, "Corrupted file identified." Do not engage with the story of the pain. Just feel the physics of it. It is just tension. It is just stored voltage. Breathe into it. Expand the hardware to accommodate the heat. The light moves lower. The solar plexus, the gut, the seat of your will. This is the battery. If you have been feeling drained, this is where the leak is. The scanner is looking for power drains, attachments to other people's opinions, worries about the future, guilt about the past. These are open tabs running in the background, sucking your battery life down to 10%. Feel the scanner cauterize those connections. Close the tabs. You need 100% of your power for the next step. The light sweeps down through your hips, your legs, your knees, anchoring you to the floor. The scan is complete. The system has read your biometric data. It knows you are here. It knows you are listening. Now, we input the quantum password. Return your focus to the black screen behind your eyes, the blinking cursor. The system is prompting you. Enter identity. Most people try to enter a request here. They type, "I want to be rich. I want to be loved. Please help me." Access denied. The system does not respond to want. Want is a command that confirms absence. If you type, "I want," the system executes a program of wanting. It gives you more experience of wanting, more experience of lacking. The syntax is wrong. You are trying to run a root command with a guest account. The password is not a request. It is a declaration of parameters. It is an I am command. You must now select the identity you are installing. Choose the one word that defines the admin version of you. Is it worthy? Is it funded? Is it secure? Is it chosen? Select the word. Do not analyze it. Feel the weight of it. Now, we're going to type it into the terminal. But we don't type with fingers. We type with frequency. Inhale deeply, pulling the breath from the base of your spine up to the center of your brain. Hold it. Visualize that word. Funded, healthy, powerful, written in glowing white code on the black screen. As you exhale, you are going to press Enter. But the Enter key is a sensation. It is a locking mechanism. It is the sound of a vault door slamming shut and the tumblers falling into place. Inhale, see the code. Exhale. Click. Feel that click in your solar plexus. It is not a question. It is not a hope. It is a setting. You have just changed the configuration settings of your reality. You have overwritten the old code. I am. Say it internally. Feel it lock. I am. If a voice comes up saying, "No, you're not," that is just the old operating system trying to run a scheduled task. Ignore it. It is obsolete. You have already updated the kernel. Focus on the feeling of the lock. This is the biometric authentication. When your feeling matches your thought, the password is accepted. When you feel the relief of already being the thing you desire, the system grants access. Wait for the response. Visualize the text on the screen turning green. Access granted. Feel the shift. It might not be an explosion. Real power is silent. It is the hum of a server room coming online. It is the feeling of high voltage capability rushing into your limbs. The anxiety is gone because anxiety is just the friction of a slow processor. You are running on fiber optics now. Your hands feel heavy. Your mind feels cool, sharp, spacious. The frantic spinning wheel is gone. The render is instant. You are no longer the user, frantically clicking on frozen icons. You are the administrator, sitting back in the chair watching the mainframe execute your command. You do not need to check if it's working. You typed the code, you pressed enter. The machine has no choice but to obey. That is the laws of physics, that is the law of cybernetics. Stay in this seat, feel the authority of the chair. The silence in your head is not emptiness. It is the silence of a system running perfectly. There is no friction, there is no noise. There is only the hum of power. You have logged in. The controls are yours. Do not give them back to the old program when you open your eyes. You carry this interface with you. You are the admin. Breathe in the cool air of the server room. Breathe out the heat of the old struggle. System calibrated. Identity verified. Ready for deployment. Open your eyes. Look at the room around you. It looks the same, but the code behind it has changed. You are looking at a new render. Welcome to the upgrade. You have successfully logged in. The meditation is over. Your eyes are open. This is the most dangerous moment of the process. Most people feel the power during the diagnostic, the meditation. But the moment they stand up and walk back into the kitchen, the moment they check their phone, the old operating system tries to auto-launch. It tries to re-establish the old desktop environment. We cannot allow that. You are no longer a passive user hoping the computer doesn't crash. You are the system administrator. An administrator does not hope. An administrator manages resources, authorizes protocols, and performs maintenance. To maintain your new access level, you need a new toolkit. We are replacing your vague spiritual practices with 3 precise cybernetic protocols. These are not rituals. These are system commands. Protocol 1, the Task Manager Audit. Let's look at your processing speed. You feel sluggish. You feel like you are wading through concrete. You think this is a spiritual attack or heavy energy. It is not. It is a memory leak. Your brain is the CPU. Your attention is the RAM, random access memory. RAM is finite. Every single unfinished task, every unmade decision, every suppressed emotion is a browser tab running in the background. You might be sitting here trying to manifest $1 million reality, but you have 57 tabs open in the background, consuming 90% of your RAM. Tab 1. The conversation you need to have with your partner, but are avoiding. Tab 2. The email you read 4 days ago didn't reply to and now feel guilty about. Tab 3. The noise the car is making. Tab 4. The resentment from 2014. You aren't blocked. You are just out of memory. The system cannot render the new high-resolution reality you asked for because you don't have the available resources to process the graphics. We need to open the task manager and force quit these processes. Here is the protocol. Take a piece of paper. This is your interface. You are going to perform a RAM dump. Write down every single open loop in your life. I'm talking about specifics. You've been silently carrying the weight of a messy garage. You've been ignoring a subtle pain in your tooth. You've been replaying an argument in the shower for 3 weeks. Write it all down. Get it out of the RAM and onto the hard drive, the paper. Once the list is complete, you must apply one of 3 administrative commands to every single item. There is no fourth option. Command A. Delete. You decide, right now, that you are never going to do it. You delete the task. You accept the consequences. You look at that project you said you'd start someday and you kill it. You close the tab. Feel the fan in your brain slow down. Command B. Delegate. You assign the process to another processor. You hire the cleaner. You ask for help. You send the email forwarding the responsibility. You move the resource usage off your local drive. Command C. Complete. You do it, now, or you schedule the exact execution time. If you do not run this audit, you are trying to run a next-gen piece of software on a machine that is choking on its own history. Clear the RAM. This is how you reclaim the bandwidth required for the upgrade. Protocol 2. The two-factor response. Now that you have bandwidth, the system will test your security clearance. This is what we called the two-factor trigger in the diagnostic phase. But now, we move from diagnosis to action. Here is the scenario. You have declared yourself an admin. You have stated, I am wealthy, or I am loved. You have input the new code. The system accepts the input, but before it grants full access, it sends a verification code. It triggers a stress test. You get a bill you didn't expect. Your partner makes that specific comment that usually makes you spiral. You get a rejection letter. The old user, the victim identity, reacts immediately. The old user panics. The old user screams, "See, it didn't work. I knew I was a failure." That reaction, that is you failing the authentication. That is you typing in the wrong password. Access denied. You must understand the mechanics here. The trigger is not a sign that things are going wrong. The trigger is a pop-up window on your screen asking, "Suspicious activity detected. High-level command input from a new location. Is this really you?" You must authenticate. Here is the protocol for the next 72 hours. When a trigger hits, when your heart rate spikes, when the heat rises in your chest, you have a 3-second latency window. Step 1. The pause, latency. Do not react. Do not speak. Do not text back. Freeze the frame. You are staring at the blinking cursor. Step 2. The override command. You must consciously overwrite the automated script. The old script is panic. The admin script is verification. You say internally or out loud, "This is a rendering glitch. I am funded." Or, "This is a system test. I am secure." Step 3. Physical input. You must move your body in a way the old user wouldn't. The old user hunches over in fear. The admin leans back. Breathe slowly. Slow your biometrics. By keeping your heart rate low in the face of a high-stress trigger, you are proving to the system that you have the capacity to handle this level of power. You are proving you are the admin. You are clicking, "Yes, this is me" on the 2-factor prompt. Once you do this, the firewall drops and the reality renders. Protocol 3. The cache clear ritual. Finally, we need to address the hardware, your physical body. Computers accumulate junk files, temporary internet files, cookies, error logs, cache. Even if you close the tabs, Protocol 1, the residue remains on the hard disk. Your body is the hard disk. It stores the cache of your old trauma, your old identity, and the stress of the day. You cannot think your way out of a corrupted cache. You have to physically wipe the drive. Most people try to solve this with more thinking, more analyzing, but you cannot analyze a corrupted file. You just need to delete it. Think of this as the ultimate physical, spiritual blockage removal. Here is the protocol. You need a high-intensity state break. The data is stored in the fascia and the nervous system. Step 1. The shake. Stand up. For 60 seconds, shake your body. I mean vibrate. Shake your hands, bounce on your heels, let your jaw go slack. You are mimicking the way animals shake off trauma after a chase. You are manually disrupting the static electricity of the old identity. You are scrambling the signal so it can reset. Step 2. The flush. Cold water. Splash your face or end your shower with 30 seconds of freezing cold. Why? This isn't masochism. It resets the vagus nerve. It sends a shockwave through the hardware that forces a reboot. It clears the short-term memory of the nervous system. Step 3. The reboot. Stand still. Close your eyes. Visualize a progress bar reaching 100%. Cache cleared. These 3 tools, the task manager, the 2-factor response, and the cache clear, are your daily maintenance. You don't just do them once. A server room requires constant cooling and constant monitoring. You are the manager of that room. If you stop managing, the entropy returns. The fans get clogged with dust. The system overheats, the spinning wheel returns. But if you execute these commands, if you keep your RAM clear, if you verify your identity when tested, and if you flush the cache daily, you become a superconductor. The latency vanishes. You input a desire and the system renders it near instantaneously. That is the difference between a user praying for a glitch and an admin running the code. Take a breath. Do you feel that? The specific, humming silence of a machine that is finally running at optimal temperature. The spinning wheel has stopped. The error windows have closed. The frantic clicking of your old self, the desperate, panic-induced attempts to force a reality that wasn't ready to render, has been replaced by the steady, rhythmic pulse of a system in control. You have successfully navigated the reboot. You are no longer at the mercy of the glitches. You understand now that the spiritual blockage you were fighting was never a defect. It was a security feature. It was a necessary firewall, erected by the sophisticated intelligence of your own higher architecture, designed to prevent the outdated version of you from corrupting the new operating system you are trying to install. You stopped banging on the keyboard. You endured the latency of the download. You authenticated your identity through the tests of exhaustion and emotional volatility. And because you did not force a restart during the critical update phase, you are now online. But we have reached a critical threshold. We have secured the hardware. We have cleared the cache. You have your admin access. But access is useless if you do not know the coding language required to program the simulation. Imagine sitting in the server room, total control at your fingertips. The command console blinking with a green cursor, waiting for input. And you don't know the syntax. You have the power to build worlds, but if you type the wrong command, the system will return a syntax error. This is where most people stall. They reclaim their power, they feel the surge of energy return, but they lack the precise instructions set to direct it. They have the authority of an administrator, but they are still speaking the language of a guest user. They have the console open, but they are terrified to type. This brings us to the final piece of the architecture. We have stabilized the vessel. Now we must upgrade the software. The reality engine, the quantum field that surrounds you, operates on a very specific programming language. It does not respond to vague wishes or emotional desperation. It executes precise linguistic commands that compile into physical events. We call this the source code. In the next briefing, we are going to leave the hardware behind and enter the domain of the software. We will explore source code, why your words are rewriting your DNA. We are going to dismantle the mechanics of how your speech patterns act as direct command lines to your biological and environmental reality. You have the console open. Now you need to learn how to write the scripts that the reality engine executes without lag. You have the power back. But power without direction is just noise. If you are ready to stop guessing and start programming, click subscribe. Consider it your permanent upgrade to the developer tier. You need to be here for the next phase, because we are going to teach you the syntax of creation. Walk away from this session with one thought encoded into your core drive. The universe did not block you because it rejected you. It blocked you because it was protecting the new version of you from the limitations of the old version of you. The resistance was the lock. Your identity was the key. You have turned it. The screen is green. Access granted. Welcome back, admin.